All right, we got some interesting news and things that was said today.
It looked like Caitlin Clark might have responded to Project B offer, allegedly.
Caitlin Clark just quit the WNBA and chose not to travel to Europe. She went to a much larger place. She is formerly a Major League Baseball player. Yes, MLB, you heard correctly. The WNBA's ratings are dropping. The sponsors are rushing. The saddest thing is that no one anticipated it as they were so preoccupied with attempting to manage her. This is the tale of how, in just 18 months, one person destroyed a whole billion-dollar business. And it all began when the WNBA committed a single, deadly error. The WNBA committed a historic error in 2024 when Caitlin Clark joined the league. In the history of women's sports, they had the largest phenomenon. Someone who overnight literally quadrupled the amount of viewers. Additionally, they handled her the same as any other rookie. Standard contract, minimum wage, no marketing budget, no special protections, nothing. Consider it for a moment. The NFL provided Tom Brady with a prime time slot and endorsement assistance. With Nike sponsorships and worldwide marketing initiatives, the NBA instantly established LeBron James as a household name. The MLB has a comprehensive plan for growing internationally. Caitlin Clark was given a rookie contract by the WNBA, and they wanted her to be appreciative. This is where things get very hot, though. The league failed to defend their franchise player when the problems began, including the hard fouls nobody called, the narrative drama involving Angel Ree, and the nasty talk on social media. Rather, they made money off of it. They allowed the dispute to fester. The physical play was minimized. They essentially shrugged as they saw her being singled out night after night. Silence, corporate silence, the sort that screams, "We're letting this burn for engagement because furious conversation gets clicks," was the WNBA's response to Stephanie White, the Fever coach, who publicly defended Clark by claiming that she detests the storyline around her star player. The WNBA put immediate financial gain ahead of long-term security. Caitlin Clark recalled that as well. She saw them put engagement numbers ahead of her emotional well-being. She witnessed them put more emphasis on the drama than on upholding her persona. And she came to a crucial realization. They genuinely don't want me to be successful. They want me to stir up trouble. At that point, everything was different. Then the injury occurred. A few games, nothing major, a small setback from which every athlete bounces back. Additionally, it is said that between 40 and 55% fewer people watched the league's national TV. Give that some time to sink in. A single player missing a few games and half of the new fan base the WNBA had built just disappeared. Lost. Didn't return for several weeks. Some never returned at all. A player is not that. Not even a franchise player, that is. That is the whole economic force behind a league's expansion. Gathering ice packs while seated on the sidelines. At that precise time, Clark's management team came to a realization. They are no longer necessary. They are in dire need of us. Because this is the harsh reality that no one wants to publicly acknowledge. It wasn't because the league improved that the WNBA saw an increase in viewership. It wasn't due to brilliant management, clever marketing, or ultimately landing the proper TV agreements. There was only one individual, a 23-year-old female from Iowa wearing a Fever jersey. All of a sudden, moms, adolescents, viewers from across the world, and advertisers from all over the world tuned in. Caitlin Clark wasn't created by the WNBA. WNBA was created by Caitlin Clark. She established a whole new market. She attracted audiences who had never seen women's basketball. She demonstrated on her own that women's sports could rival men's in terms of viewership and income. And while recuperating on a couch and watching the league scurry without her, she deduced that the financial model began to run. When one player accounts for half of your audience, how much is she worth? When taking her out of the equation reduces your audience by half, what is her true market value? The response was startling. Billions. The WNBA was paying her the rookie minimum despite the fact that she had literally billions of dollars in long-term worth attached to one player. This is what transpired next. Everyone in sports administration is aware that this is precisely how things transpired, even if no one has formally validated every detail. With a single document in hand, Clark's officials entered the offices of the Indiana Fever and the WNBA commissioner at the same time. Her actual worth is demonstrated by one graph: the decline in ratings, the financial effect, and the market analysis. That's all. The connotation was so obvious that they didn't need speeches. This represents our value. Will you now pay it equitably, or are we looking at other options? The WNBA was unable to respond. The collective bargaining agreement of the league is no longer in effect. It is constrictive. It was created at a time when women's basketball was hardly visible, profitable, or mainstream. The CBA artificially restricts pay. It restricts the potential for marketing. It traps players in a system that makes money off of their reputation without paying them fairly. The system is designed for scarcity rather than plenty. Additionally, Caitlin Clark recently demonstrated that the WNBA was drowning with players as a result of her. Clark's squad did not request a renegotiation with the WNBA. Instead, they questioned everyone on the planet. At that point, calls began to come in from Major League Baseball organizations as well as European teams. Consider it. For years, MLB has been attempting to break into the women's sports market. They have made investments in women's baseball, softball, and everything else. However, nothing remained till they came to a realization. They didn't have to create a brand just for women. They have to collaborate with the largest female athlete and allow her to do more than just play in the WNBA. MLB noticed what Caitlin Clark had done, which made her a worldwide sensation, shown that women's sports could bring in enormous sums of money, and showed that she had more clout than a whole league. MLB would supply the worldwide platform, marketing infrastructure, and financial support as part of the agreement. By participating in demonstration games, forming brand alliances, and creating the first-ever Clark Global Tour for women's sports, Clark would effectively turn into a global spokesperson for sports in general. When Spanish Liga teams saw a worldwide superstar eager to grow their market, they began contacting French clubs, Greek powerhouses, teams with money that made WNBA wages seem like high school paychecks, international shoemakers, and streaming platforms in Asia. The WNBA had a single task: make Caitlin Clark the world's highest-paid athlete while shielding her from the negativity. They made her want to go instead. This is where everything started to get completely crazy. Caitlin Clark didn't simply jump to one European team or one overseas league while the WNBA processed a release. She purportedly oversaw a global touring strategy supported by MLB infrastructure, which has never been done in women's sports before. Imagine it as the Harlem Globetrotters combined with worldwide sports entertainment games in Athens, Barcelona, Paris, London, Toronto, Mexico City, and Tokyo, as well as championship-level basketball. They all worked together with the Indiana Fever. All are broadcast on international networks and MLB's platforms worldwide. All of them are bringing in sponsorship money, which reduces WNBA wages to pennies. According to the rumor, Clark plays under an international consortium under a partnership framework, supported by MLB, with separate clubs in Europe, and with streaming arrangements in Asia-Pacific that totally circumvent the WNBA's restricted contracts. This is the worst part. It is literally unstoppable by the WNBA. Because the CBA regulations become more complex whenever a player performs abroad under international contracts. Various legal systems, disparate employment regulations, and foreign sponsorship agreements unrelated to American basketball. Platforms are sold the streaming rights. The WNBA no longer has any influence on the league. Take a peek at the ecosystem's current state. Suddenly, Taylor Swift's association with athletics through Travis Kelce is linked to the Clark brand. There are a lot of big sponsorship agreements coming in. The CC brand, not the WNBA brand, is the target of worldwide sponsors like Gatorade, Nike, and others. She has surpassed the league in size. While WNBA clubs are having trouble at home, the Indiana Fever, incidentally, are doing quite well abroad. It is the most powerful move. Outside of the league, your own team achieves greater success than within. Visuals. The WNBA's viewership is falling. Comparison graphs and footage of empty arenas. The WNBA's official statement upon the announcement of Clark's departure. A simple 3-syllable thank you to the Fever for their input. That was it. They lacked a strategy, thus there was no emotion, no counteroffer, and no strategy. They couldn't hold on to a player who was worth billions of dollars. Ratings have been declining ever since she departed. Teams are letting go of employees. There is a downward renegotiating of sponsorships. The league that was once thought to be America's most popular sports product is currently struggling to stay relevant. And everyone is aware of the reason. Take a look at what is going on. Everything stems from a single decision: declining viewership, players seeking better terms, teams losing money, the commissioner's office making every PR blunder, and vacant venues where sellouts formerly occurred. Rather than honoring Caitlin Clark, the WNBA decided to manage her. They opted for controversy rather than safety. Engagement metrics were preferred above loyalty. They put immediate financial gain ahead of long-term heritage. The WNBA was not destroyed by Caitlin Clark. By failing to recognize that they had a generational talent who was essentially rescuing their league, the WNBA ruined itself. Additionally, they viewed her as a problem to be solved rather as a resource to be safeguarded. She is therefore no longer a concern for them. The future lies with her. She is the model. She is evidence that one powerful athlete can completely change a whole business. This is the most frightening aspect for the WNBA. All of the world's young female athletes just observed what transpired. They realized that allegiance is ineffective. They observed that you would be sacrificed for involvement by the league. They realized that you could start your own empire and leave them behind if you were important enough. Whether Caitlin Clark can be successful outside of the WNBA is not the question. Whether the WNBA can continue without her is the question. And the answer is utterly horrifying when you look at the figures. Caitlin Clark's departure from the WNBA wasn't abrupt. She demonstrated to all female athletes worldwide what is achievable when one recognizes their own potential. She demonstrated to them that they are not have to accept the system they created for them. You may construct your own. She entered a league of 2.3 billion people and emerged as a future billionaire. She joined forces with MLB. She established a worldwide empire. In just 18 months, she rendered the WNBA obsolete. Click like, subscribe, and leave your best opinion in the comments if you believe Caitlin Clark just written the rulebook for the future generation of athletes.